have to ask because you've got your t-shirt on and you've mentioned it enough times. Anybody who's followed your career knows your love for the Star Wars brand. I'd like to know where that began. Like, do you have an initial memory of your kind of consumption of the Star Wars brand, if you like?
And the first, I actually couldn't remember this earlier. I was trying to remember my favorite movie, but the first movie that I saw was Episode 3, Phantom of the Menace. I'm sure that's what it's called. When they had the pod racers, and I think I'm a big motorsport fan, and again, like with Darth Maul, I loved his character. I thought he was really sick. And with the Qui-Gon Jinn, I thought that was really cool. And then young Anakin with the pod racers. I think being a young kid and seeing that, I was just hooked. So that's what initially got me into Star Wars. And then just watching all the films, I've just always just had this excitement about action and also mystery and fantasy. And I feel like Star Wars universe is just so incredible and just engulfs that in its whole ethos. From just everything about Star Wars is magical, you know. And like, even you go to the bar and there's so many different types of creatures and different drinks and stuff like that. And then you got force wielders and non-force wielders and Mandalorians, and it's just great. It's sick. And I think just from there, it's just grown and grown and grown. And obviously becoming to be my fight name, the Jedi. I had to pick a name, self-proclaimed Jedi, and I love the concept of light and dark and being, you know, one with the Force. Typically like yin and yang, finding balance, you know, being the master of the Force, and that's how you become, you know, the best in your whole life. You know what I mean? The best in whatever you choose. The purest form of manifestation is being that one with balance. You know, so I apply all that to my fighting, and that's the geeky side of it.
I was going to ask about that though, and you've kind of already answered it, but I'll ask you the question nonetheless. Is there a link that you can trace between your love for Star Wars and your love for fighting and your love for combat? I mean, naturally, combat is probably the key link when you look at the two, but there's also kind of samurai, Bushido elements that come into it as well. Is there a key link that you can trace between your career and your love for Star Wars, if you like?
Definitely, you know, obviously Jedis and Siths and any other Star Wars character, that they have that element of samurai, like you said, or, you know, combative athletes or combative warriors that go into and fight for defend what they believe in, you know. And you could also argue saying, you know, the dark side, Anakin was just lost and, you know, was unbalanced and that sort of stuff. But the link for me was just kind of, like I said before, about using the light side and the dark side, you know, mastering oneself. And that's how I look at the journey of martial arts. It's a constant journey. There's no end goal. It's just a journey of mastery. You're constantly mastering all these different skills, and it's not just skills. You're mastering mental battles and your mentality. You have to grow that too, and there's lots of discipline that you have to be able to go through that to build fortitude, and it teaches you so many lessons, martial arts. And I wouldn't be the person I am without martial arts. And, you know, adding a little spin with Star Wars and calling myself the Jedi and walking around with lightsabers, it definitely makes it even more fun and more worthwhile, you know. So I think that's where the link is.
Yeah, no, 100%.